You never know what someone's going through in their day to day.
I need to block this out. You lose yourself, but then you become the person you didn't want to become.
I truly believe in people. I think people can do a lot of good when they're offered the opportunity.
I'm like, I always forget. So I need to write it on here.
Get too hype.
Yeah, get too hype.
Get a whiteboard, dude.
Like, ooh, what's up, Rob? How you doing?
Real
Hey, buddy.
I'm like, what's up, Papa? How you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Loft. Today I'm with my guy Rob Rudolph. What's up, Pop?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
We're back on. I haven't been down here in
It's been a hot minute.
yeah, still looks the same.
Yeah, right. Except
You know?
except these lights aren't on right now. I gonna fix the setup a little bit. But guys, if you guys are new to the Loft or you've been watching, remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps, and sharing the message. All we're doing is we're encouraging the conversation. So if you guys whenever you get a chance, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate it. Today we got a very special episode. Got my good buddy Rob, my partner, my right hand, DJing, and we get after it. So we wanted to have you on, obviously. He got some family stuff to talk about, but how you been, buddy?
Good.
Good, you chilling?
Yeah.
Good. I don't think we've really had conversations like this in this capacity. I know we mess around a lot. We DJing a lot. We're out at, the usual spots, but nice to sit down and have you. We also got Dylan with a microphone today.
Yes, sir.
Dylan, if you guys have seen the DJ promo, Dylan was the one filming that. He did that one.
An amazing job.
Part 2 coming soon.
Part 2 is coming very soon. I know you want to talk about some things, everything with your brother. I know we kind of, like, when you were on some of the episodes, we would hint at it, but we never really sat down and, like, had that conversation. How long, so he passed, how old was he when he passed?
29.
He was 29.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 13, turning 14.
Okay. And you died of an overdose, right?
Yeah, heroin.
So, I guess we can kind of backtrack a little bit. Do you recall much of it?
Yeah, that whole day plays in my head.
Yeah.
Just step by step by step.
Yeah. So what was that? So talk me through that day.
Let's take a trip down memory lane. You know what I mean? Let's go back in time.
Let's do it.
It'll be 12 years in June. So it was the end of 7th grade going into my 8th grade year. Every year, like right before school ended, we'd always go on a class trip, whether it be to Six Flags, Dorney Park, whatever. We were going to Dorney Park. My mom and dad were both still working at the time. Neither one were retired. That week was a normal week for me. I went to school. I came home. I went to lacrosse camp at the time on the off season, and my brother was staying with us for like a couple days, and it wasn't long. Like, he never stayed at home long because he was a wrestler. So when he wrestled, he was always traveling and whatever. Tuesday came. I got up. He got up. My mom got up. My mom got me to school. He came with me. I was like in a just a mood for whatever reason, so I kind of like shunned him in a way. He's sick of morning. I was kind of just like,
Okay, was he
whatever?
So this is like him coming. He was like kind of coming back in your life a little bit. He was just around that day.
I mean, so the thing, like, he was always in my life, but like with him traveling and wrestling,
yeah,
and being locked up, like it just
So
when he was around, he was around. When he wasn't, he wasn't, and it was what it was.
Yeah.
So they drop me off of school. I lean up. I give my mom a hug and a kiss. I give him a hug and a kiss. I say goodbye. I see when I get home, and that was the last time I saw him. Wednesday comes, come home, go to lacrosse. He came home before I did, and he said to my mom, he's like, I'm going upstairs. Like, I'm hurt from working out at the gym, at the wrestling gym. He's like, I'm going to bed. And then he died. So Thursday came, didn't see him, didn't hear from him, whatever. Friday came, and then that was the day we were going to Dorney Park. So my mom was like, look, like, I'm getting you up at 5:45. She's like, Daddy's got to go to work. I got to go to work, but Michael's going to be home. Just.
So you overdosed in his room.
So she just like, I'll get you up, go downstairs. When you when you gotta leave, get up, let Michael know you're leaving. He's home with you, whatever. I said, all right. So the way my house is set up, you come up the steps. I have an upstairs living room and dining room to the right, to the left, and then when you make the left, it's a closet, his room, my bathroom, a closet, my room's dead ahead, and then my parents' room. So I come out, my mom opens his door, and she's just standing, and I'm so tired. And I'm just like, oh, like, get out of the way. I'm going downstairs. I want to go back to bed. She's just staring. I didn't think nothing of it. Go downstairs. I lay on the couch. My dad's coming down. He's getting ready for work. And I hear this. Like, I hear Rob, get up here. And I'm like, Dad, like, Mommy wants you upstairs. So he goes up, and he's just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to be late. Go up. And I hear him, like, he's like, Michael. And then I hear, like, Ro, go downstairs and call 911. And I'm like, no. I have no idea. You know what I mean? I'm still out of it to begin with.
Well, yeah, and you're 13.
Yeah, I'm 13 years old. Mom comes downstairs, grabs the phone, runs upstairs. Now knowing what I know, 911 asked her to, like, if you can, like, roll him over or try to move him. Well, when they moved him, he was laying there for a day. So the body, like, settles, blood settles in certain places, the way your body's laying, whatever. And it was just not a good sight. My mom screamed. I hear it right now. Screamed so loud. Started crying. My dad just grabbed her and just not drug her, but like had to like bring her down the steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, take her out of the room.
Yeah, and get away from that.
Yeah.
So I like perk up, and she comes down. She's hysterical, crying, just a mess. And my dad goes, Michael's dead. And I just was like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, okay. You know, I mean,
that's like a shock value, you know what I mean? And I want to thank you for coming on and sharing that, because, you know, like stories like that where, you know, your brother's he's just not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, his body's there, but his soul isn't there, and that can really affect a person. And even hear like, you know, this person's just not here anymore. Like,
right.
what are you supposed to think? Like, what even went through your head during that?
Everything happened so fast. Like, the fire department came, the medics came, cops were in the house. And I remember, like, my mom was sitting on the end, and I was sitting next to her, and I was just holding her. And I'm, like, just holding my mom. She's just hysterical, crying. And my dad was upstairs at the time with, like, the cops and everyone else.
Yeah.
Cop comes down, sergeant or whatever, and he's like, you know, we're really sorry for your guys' loss, blah, 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 whatever. So they leave. 2 cops sit out front, and they wait for I believe it's a coroner that came, because we had an autopsy done. And my mom and dad were like, look, like, you can go. Like, just go on your class ship. And I'm like, no, I won't go. You know what I mean? I'll stay here. Right. And my dad was like, you're better off going. He's like, it's not really a place you should just hang around. So I was like, all right. But I told him, I was like, I don't want to go upstairs alone.
Right, yeah, you don't want to be near that.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's like, all right, I'll go up. He takes me upstairs, make the left. His door was open at the time still, and I looked to my left. And I just walked to my room. My dad waited at the top of the steps. I got dressed, grabbed my stuff. And as I was coming back, I stopped. And I looked. You know what I mean? Why? I couldn't tell you why. I felt as though I had to look.
Yeah.
So I looked, and there he was, whatever. And I couldn't see anything. He was, I want to say the fetal position, but like he was, his head was down between like he was like, not being funny, but like doggy style. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like his head was just down, his legs were up, whatever.
Right.
And that's all I just saw hair. So I didn't see like, you know, face or nothing. I didn't see any of that. And then I just came downstairs, gave my mom a hug and a kiss goodbye, loved her, whatever. And I got on my bike and I rode to my friend's house. And that was my day. I just went on with my day. And then, you know, that week came and the priest came over the house Made his condolences to us, blessed the house, blessed us, whatever. Family was in and out all week long, every day, all day long. It was like we were giving something away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We come from a big Italian family, so like it's nothing that was out of the ordinary. Someone dies, the neighbors come, aunts and uncles, everyone on the block shows up, whatever. So for me, it didn't really, like, it just was more people come over with flowers, baskets, food, whatever.
Yeah, just bringing stuff to, you know.
Yeah, just to like, you know, talking to my mom, they're talking to me, and like nothing hit. Like just nothing was like, Michael's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just, it went on. So then the day of the funeral, the limo came, picked us up, got in the limo, blah, blah, blah. We get there, and I get out of the limo, and I just cry. That's when it really kind of started to work, like hit. Closed casket. The only thing up there was a picture.
And that was by choice, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's my mom. And the autopsy people were like, his face was just from laying there so long. Like, for us to make it look like he used to look,
It wasn't.
it would have been respect for you and the family. So
right.
whatever. So go to the funeral, the burial, the church, the whole nine, and then life just goes on. And then it wasn't up until, so after everything, he died. Well, we found him on the 18th of June, and then the 27th of June is my birthday. I turned 14. July 8th of 2010, the same year, I joined the fire department. Got in the fire department, whatever. Saw a lot of things at a really young age, just like running with the calls with them and whatever else. None really started to hit me until I was like 16, 17, 18 is really when like I noticed a change in myself.
What did you notice? What was the old Rob and what was the new Rob that was beginning to like form?
The old me, like, I just was never mad. I wasn't miserable.
Right.
I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
not saying I'm not happy and stuff now.
I mean, right. Like, I'm kind of, because like, I feel like I mean, for me, like being in my life, like you walk into the door and you walk into the bar and everyone's just like happy to see you. And, like, everyone just wants to be around you. And like, even for me, like it helps me with my music playing, you know, because of the requests. Right. But like, you know, it's like, you can't really tell. And like, you know,
that's like what it comes down. It's like I hid it, and I still hide it. Like I wear a mask like I always say, I wear a mask. Like no one sees that side, because I don't want that side to come out. And it came out a lot at home. Like just I would not freak out, but I would just get mad so easy. Like and my parents, God bless them, like took the worst end of things. You know what I mean? Right, for sure. Just me like freaking out, getting pissed off, throwing stuff, like being a lunatic for no reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I say like a support group, like my aunt, which is my mom's sister, was like really, really close with my brother. They were pretty much like brother and sister. So her and I would talk all the time, and I always said she's like my number one fan. Like she talks to me whenever I need her, you know what I mean, no matter what it is. Yeah, for sure. And I just remember talking to her. I was like, you know, you guys hid so much from me all the time. And she's like, well, you were young.
Like about your brother.
And that's like where like my anger is. You know what I mean? Like you hid the times he was locked up, all the times he was locked up, and then the times he was in rehab, and the times you knew he was still doing whatever he was doing. And I said, now that he's gone, everything comes out. Right. I'm older now. I'm in my 20s.
You can kind of take it now and understand it a little bit better, yeah.
So like it was like an ongoing thing. It was just like constant, like I was mad, I was pissed off, and then like I would try to find ways to like counteract it. Like instead of getting mad, go do something that doesn't make you pissed off. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Whether that be like go for a drive. Just drive around. Who cares? You know, sit by the river. Right. Talk with friends. Do whatever.
When you started finding more and more about your brother, how old were you? Because you was 13 when you died.
I probably found out more and more from like 17 on.
Okay. So you were kind of at that age where you're about to be in high school. You're in high school.
Yeah.
You're getting like older and more mature. So you're able to like learn it. So how did it come out?
I just asked.
You asked them about it and they told you.
Mm-hmm.
But and also too, I kind of want to challenge you a little bit. Like how so you were angry.
Mm-hmm.
What like do you think? I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but do you think it would have benefited you knowing the stuff that he was doing? Like, you know what I mean? Because I think about that.
So I say that to myself a lot now, like, and it's funny. I just had that conversation with one of my friends about it. We were talking something about my brother came up, and I said, if he were to die today, and I'm now 25, and I've been in the fire service for almost 12 years. Knowing what I know, it would hurt me more now than it did then. Not saying I'm not hurt.
No, but you know,
knowing what I know now, that just
right kills you. Yeah, you get a little bit more educated, or you learn a little bit more about what the disease does, and you know what putting a drug in your body can do to you. You know, and it's interesting because I think about this because in my family situation, you know what I told you about. You know, so. For me, I wasn't angry. You know, I don't get angry because, you know, I realized that what's the alternative of you learning at a younger age and you hating potentially, because I could kind of see where your parents are coming from, but also with you. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I can also understand from a parent's perspective where they're like, you know, like, I don't want my son to hate me, or I don't want my son to hate him, you know.
So like, and that's what it came down to. They really didn't want me to look at him
differently,
and even to the present date right now, I don't look at my brother
for sure because you're mature enough to realize that, you know. But maybe when you were 13, you might, or you were younger, your vision of him could have changed forever, right? Because when you're at that younger age, your brain is being molded, your mind's being molded, and they always say never meet your heroes. And I can only imagine the influence that your brother had on your life, and you know he's not a bad person.
Yeah.
But just imagine having that slight bit of doubt, you know, because when you're younger, like everything to you is just so much greater, right? Like anything, like Christmas or like going to the shore with family, it's like everything's so perfect and nothing can ever go wrong. And then, you know, to have something like that hit you at that age, you know, maybe they thought in their head that it would have changed the way you looked at him and how you grew up, right? It could have changed how you grew up. But instead, you know, you may have learned at 17, you're still relatively young, but at the same time, you still learn at an age where you're able to process things a little bit better. Right. And for you, I think you're at this point where you're able to understand that it wasn't because he was a bad person, it's just a disease that he suffered from. So, you know what I mean? So you're able to now understand that, and like you just said to me, you still love him and you don't think any differently.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I can understand where your parents coming from. I can understand where you're coming from. And to even like walk to class, or about to go to school, and you just see your brother passed away on the ground, like it's like that's just something that isn't normal. And it's like you know what I mean? I can only imagine like me seeing. I don't even want to put an energy out there, but seeing, you know, just seeing that, like that's gotta be like fuck you up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like. What were some of the difficult things you struggled with? I mean, well, let alone you going to fucking go see your friends and go to school that day. Like that's horrible. But I understand it. What were some of the things you struggled with and battled with as your time kind of went on, and realizing that your brother wasn't there, and the funeral happened, and it finally hit you? Like, what was the aftermath of that? The first few years.
A lot of questions and no answers. And that's like my biggest struggle is it's always like why, you know what I mean? The whys, the how comes, and like, look, I learned like life's shitty. You get dealt some shitty hands. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do?
Right.
What are you gonna do? No, there's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing to the present day. There's nothing I could have did 11 years ago to stop him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, I could say that to myself, and yeah, it would beat me up. I beat myself up all the time about it. But like the questions, so many like whys. I'm like, how come?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how come you never said nothing?
Right.
How come that? And then when he would come out, like when he was locked up for a while, he would come home, whatever, and he'd always be like, come on, let's walk to the park. But it was never a walk to a park like people think, like, oh, like we're going to go swing on a swing. No. Him and I went to the park. We sat down in the grass. And he's like, you know where I was? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I'm not dumb. I know. And he told me everything. Everything. This is why I got locked up. This is what happened. This is how long I served. But no one else said a word.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Nobody.
Yeah, and sometimes it's better just to hear it from the source too. And like I said, your parents just want to protect you, and they don't want you to think of your brother differently. And for your brother to tell you that, I think kind of makes the blow a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So what did he go to jail for? Was it
Drugs.
okay for possession?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then how often do you guys go to the park?
Anytime he came out. And then like there was times like he was just home from like being away, like wrestling and stuff. And like we would do whatever, you know what I mean? We would go get pizza or we would just, you know, do whatever. But he really wasn't home all that often. He lived in South Philly. You know what I mean? He grew up in South Philly. He was he's a big name in South Philly. So for him, that was his home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
He lived with my grandpa
right.
At the time. And then he would come up to like our house every once in a while. But he really was down there. His wrestling gym was down there. He trained down there. So like for him to come up here.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah. And
so he was down there more often than not.
yeah, so he was a wrestler. So where did he wrestle?
All over.
Yeah.
He was the international world champion from Japan. He was the top name in Japan. In world wrestling entertainment over there. He had belts and medals and everything.
Yeah, you showed me a picture. He's a big dude. I'll put it on the screen right now so you can see. But
yeah,
he seemed like he was a big dude.
He was, and it was like our age now that he was like in his like prime time. Watch what he ate.
Because we're in our prime right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at us.
Come on,
us, you know what I mean?
Come on, look at us. You know.
But yeah, I mean, that's just what he did. And then they made like a movie. It's called Card Subject to Change. And he talked about it. You know what I mean? He talked about it. He's like, you know, it's rough. It's a rough industry. A lot of drugs in the industry, though. You know what I mean? Like WWE, WWF, CZW, ECW, all of it. There's a lot of drugs that go on that a lot of people don't know about. You know what I mean? People kind of turn their head away from it. But it's there. You know, you're getting thrown around, you're getting banged around with chairs and everything else.
He starts off probably with painkillers, right?
Painkillers, and then you get tired of them and you go to something else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it just, one thing led to another, and he just traveled so much. So, like, there was only one Christmas where, like, him and I woke up together and we opened gifts together, and, like, that was our day.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, like...
Did it make your relationship tough with him?
Mm-mm.
No. So what kept you guys close?
Good question. Honestly. I mean, probably just the times that he would come home and he would take me away from the house and be like, look, this is what it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is why I wasn't home. You know what I mean? And I was always like, I was young. I was like, 10, 11.
Yeah.
I was young. So I was just like, okay, like, no problem.
Right.
I'm like, you're home now, though.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm home. Never put nothing, like, in my mind that was like, wow, like, he's an asshole.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. You're so young.
I was always just like, all right, good, like, you're home.
You're young and
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy you're home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, was he like your only sibling, or do you have other siblings?
Nah, he was my only sibling.
Now, did it feel any like different after like being an only child? Like, did you feel like there was something different about it, or did it kind of just feel the same because you wasn't home a lot?
Just felt, yeah. I mean, he, like I said, he wasn't home all that often. So like for me, it didn't. Not that it didn't change anything. It just was like, well, now he's never coming home. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it came down to, was just him not physically being here anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I say this all the time to people that have lost somebody and they struggle with how they feel about it. They get angry. They just deal with that emotion of not having that person. It's something I always tell them, is just to like live through, represent them by your actions. Right. And by realizing that, hey, they might not be here anymore, which is a reality that you've fully come to accept. And I noticed you don't really make any higher, deeper meaning with it, which is okay, right? And that's how you process, and that's how your mind works. But I do always say that it's so important for people to live and remember them by the actions that they do moving forward, right? It's one of the only things you can do, right? You can remember them through your pictures and memories. But at the end of the day, it's about what you create after that, and what the legacy that you start to build for yourself and for them, because at the end of the day, your brother was a huge part of your life and will always be a huge part of your life. And it's probably one of the reasons why you're Rob.
Probably, yeah, honestly.
You know what I mean? But that's a very good thing. And to continue being him. And like I said, that energy that you have, is very, it's contagious. And I know I love it. Like, I can't really DJ Patties without it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like when I know Rob's there, I'm like, all right, that's my guy. Like, whenever we play a song, we're dancing, we're doing whatever.
We're doing
like
something stupid up there,
some stupid dance move.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that I'll see Rob's dumbass head doing this.
Just coming, just coming out somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll always see that. So it's just good that you were able to keep that and keep his memory alive and keep that personality and show that personality, because a lot of people can just completely shut off.
Well, and that's it. Like, I try to, holidays, I go, like, and I say visit him. Like, I'll go sit at his grave with him for a little bit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't go often. My mom goes every day. From the second we put him in the ground, the next day up to current date, rain, snow, sleet, hail, sunny, 75, sunny and 0 degrees out. It doesn't matter.
Damn, bro.
She's there every day.
Damn.
And I just don't do it. You know what I mean? I don't talk to my mom about it. It's a conversation her and I just don't have.
Right.
Not that I wouldn't want to have it, because she's had to have it. She's like, her and I have talked before.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the conversation comes up more now because, like, so the baby is going to be 3. So we're like getting him ready, like, and letting him sleep in his own bed. Well, he's going to need his own room. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So my mom said something to me about, well, we can just use Michael's room. And I said, no.
What's the reason why? And first of all, is it cleaned out or is just everything still there?
Everything's the same way from the time we found them. I told her, I said, I won't go in there. I don't want to look in the room. I don't want to do nothing in there. That's just me, though. And my aunt said something to me. My aunt said, like, how come you still hold on to that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I won't go. My mom will put presents in there, and she'll be like, Rob, can you go upstairs and get the presents? I'll be like, where are they? She'll be like, Michael's room. I'm like, no.
Interesting.
I can't. I think it's because I know what I saw.
Right.
Not what I saw was, like, gory and...
No, but it was...
Like, it was horrible, but, like, every time I walk past that, that's all I see.
Yeah, it's just the last moment of your brother's life. That's what you saw.
And I don't...
And you can't...
I said to her, I said, I'll frame the baby's room out in the upstairs living room somewhere, because it's just an open space, so we don't use it. We just use it to put stuff around in there. Right. I said, I'll build him a room in there. I'll frame it out, make everything he wants in there, and I'll have him let him have his own room. I won't go in there, I said. And it probably sounds shitty me to say that, but like...
No, I get it, but as your friend, I do have to be devil's advocate for a second and think that would you like facing that, or not coming to terms, but just you facing that and being in there, do you think that's something that would maybe free you a little bit? Like, do you think that your mind is a little bit trapped in
my mind's trapped of where, like, I guess I haven't come to terms with his death.
Mm-hmm. But
not that I don't know, like,
no,
I know he's never coming back.
I know that.
You know what I mean?
But yeah.
But at the same time, like,
just a feeling.
It's just
it's just that feeling of like, it's just that sadness. It's like, it's almost like, I find a decent comparison. It's almost like you not wanting to, like, let's say start going to the gym or something, right? It's like you're afraid.
Do you notice me going to the gym?
You can't tell every single day. It's like that. It's like that. What if almost? You know what I mean? Like you don't want anything to change. You don't want to relive any of that. And it's just like, I'm not gonna say a certain type of fear, but it's a certain type of like, listen, I'm okay without going in that room or without acknowledging that or facing that, and that's how I'm gonna keep it, right? But maybe, you know, one day whenever you're ready, even whenever, if you even want to, like I said, I'm just putting this out there as your brother. I gotta tell you, like, maybe facing that could, you know, free some of that stress or free some of that, you know, pain you have. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, if you don't face it, you know, it's just, you're just delaying the inevitable. Yeah. Right? What happens when your parents will say, what if they move out of that house? You got to clean that house out. You're going to have to clean that room, right? It's like, maybe it's something that by you facing, you maybe feel a little freedom from it, or a little bit of relief, or a little bit of like closure almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My aunt said to go to the medium. Like a medium?
Yeah, psychic medium, right?
My mom goes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice, man.
And he talks to my mom, I guess. And my mom was like, it helped my mom actually a lot. Like, my mom went to someone, like a legitimate counselor.
Right. I mean, Well, first of all, I can only imagine losing a son. I mean, you're a father. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So it's like losing your son or a child, you can only imagine what that does to a person. So, you know, I pray for her, and I hope she's doing well, and I hope
she's doing a lot. She came a long way. And she went to someone, she talked, and you know what? That helped her. Right. I'm stubborn in the sense of, like, I don't want to talk to someone. Like, you and I, we'll talk.
I was about to say, I was like, bro, you don't talk to me, dog?
But, like, sitting down with someone who's getting paid for me to sit there and talk to them. Right. And
I understand where you're coming from, because I went to a therapist, and, you know, when your hour's up, it's like, oh, fuck, I was just pouring my heart out to you. Like, now, you know what I mean?
Go home.
I get it. Go home.
Get out.
No, I get it. But same time, your mom found something to take the pain away, or to at least ease the pain, or at least come to grips with what happened. Like, when are you going to, right? What do you like? What's going to be your something that relieves the pressure from you, or you know what I mean, that eases your pain. You know, everyone needs to find that, and because at the end of the day, like, you know, holding those feelings in is only hurting you. Yeah. Right. It's not making anyone else feel better. It's not. At the end of the day, it's you and what you're going through. Right, your mom and everyone in their family, your whole family has their own personal battles, right? With your family, your dad, I'm sure your struggles, or your mom's struggles, and your family, aunts, uncles. You know, it's like, but what's Rob gonna do for himself?
So, good question. But no, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna see if I can get that closure. You know what I mean? Like that missing. Right. That missing something. I said something to my mom before, and I've told her time and time again. I'm like, I think I'm ready to go. Mm-hmm. I think I want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's been, like I said, almost 12 years. Right. And she said, Rob, that's fine. You can go. She said, but I'm going to tell you, it's emotional. She's like, it's not something that you just walk into like you and I are right now and just have a conversation with somebody. Right. She's like, she's going to tell you things that...
It's all right.
You know, that only he would tell you. Right. So you got to prepare yourself for it. So I think I'm gonna, make that appointment. And,
good. It's a good next step.
Further myself.
Yeah, dude.
Not even further myself. I can't say further myself, but like at least
it's progress, bro. Because like, dude, like I remember when you were here on the one of the other episodes before, like you talked about therapy, and you're just like, nah, just straight up. But like for you to acknowledge, hey, maybe I should go, or I should at least give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? You talk about your feelings for a little bit, and you let a bit of your emotion out, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, what can make it? By talking to somebody who's educated in that field, what can they do? How can that physically make you digress, right?
Right.
When you want to find progress, So I want to talk about your brother still. What are some of the good qualities about your brother that made him
who he was?
Yeah. What was his? Why am I best friends with Rob? Like why? Like why? What are his qualities that make you the person that you are? Like why? Why are you Rob, and why was he such an influence and inspiration in your life?
Well, besides getting a lot of girls, not saying I do, but, nah, he was smart. Before he got into wrestling, he wanted to be a vet. He was ungodly smart.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was an amazing student too. It was insane. And he just chose wrestling. He chose wrestling at 14. He told my mom, I want to be a wrestler. And my mom said, do what you want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool.
Do what you want to do.
Usually it's like, yo, a wrestler, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, Stone Cold, like.
Most people would be like, no, you're nuts. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask about that too. So, like, at first you said wrestling, I just assumed, like, collegiate. So you're saying, like, professional wrestling,
Oh, yeah,
right?
he was
So,
So,
he was
like,
doing choke slams and
what
shit.
was-
yeah.
Like, I was obviously, like, most people, as a kid, I was into that.
Yeah.
What was, like, if you remember, like, his process to get to that, like, professional level? Because that's such a, like, a hard, like,
Yeah,
job
it's
to,
He
not-
like, to do.
He started backyard wrestling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
And then he started, like, when they were young, him and one of his friends, they did, like, just backyard wrestling, literally in a backyard on a mattress. And they went at it. You know what I mean? They were just.
they're in them the whole high school gyms,
Yeah.
like the raggedy setups
Yeah,
and stuff.
they were just being goofs, whatever. And then I don't remember, like, whether they got a sponsor or something happened like that. They got their niche in. You know what I mean? They started going to a gym. They started training, whatever else. And then he built this big name for himself. He was known all over South Philly. You say Trent Acid or Michael Verdi, boom, they knew exactly who he was. You know what I mean? But he made that for himself.
He's just a talented dude.
Yeah, and he had so much talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that's why I struggle so much, because, like, if he was sitting there, I'd be like, yo, moron, you have so much talent.
Potential.
What happened?
Right.
And then, like, I said that in so many words to my aunt before. My aunt was just like, Rob, like, he was depressed.
He was sick.
He was sick. That's all. And there's a journal, and I don't know who has it. I don't know if we have it or my aunt has it, whoever. And he wrote down every time he shot up, he got locked up, he overdosed, whatever. And he wrote everything down.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote his thoughts down, the whole nine. I never read it or nothing.
Nah,
I don't.
That's a whole other level, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
my aunt read it. I don't.
Scared to read my own journal from years ago, let alone,
I wasn't never good really at writing, so I didn't write much.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But, I mean, he had the world by the balls, you know what I mean?
Right. But just something you could take from, in terms of just like, it is sad because, when I'm out in Kensington, I'm surrounded by that. And, you were at my gala last Friday. You came. You,
and I'll tell you what, dude, like, I know Maddie and I were sitting there the one night at Maggie's, and she's like, come out. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think what you guys are doing are just good. I absolutely love what you guys are doing, and you know that. For me, it just, I wouldn't mind coming down to watch and, like, see what goes on.
Right.
Not like the drug aspect of things, obviously, but like the helping and the everything else. It doesn't spark nothing for me. Like, Maddie was like, hey, like, maybe does it, like, just give you that flashback or give you, like, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. No, I just, not that I'm numb to it. I just,
No, it's just.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, dude, and it's not for everybody. And I would never.
You know what I mean?
I've never pushed.
But I support it
Yeah,
110%.
dude. And there's, dude, I would never ask you. I would never push you to do anything like that. When it comes to people who have lost somebody, Maddie dove 10 toes in, and she was all about it, and that's her thing, and that's what helps her. Right?
Yeah.
But like,
And like seeing all the love and like everything that goes in there, like that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I will say that there's a lot of love, man.
It's crazy. Like there's people when I went there like that didn't know me from a can of paint,
yeah,
hugging, kissing, what like
yeah.
it's insane. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
it's a great thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I gave a speech right before you walked in too. I wish you was there for that.
That's why you didn't answer my text, but
Yeah,
That's all
100%. I mean, yeah. I mean, sorry. It's just a lot of love.
yeah.
It's just a lot of people together who love each other, care about each other, and are there for a bigger cause. And they're not all out there volunteering, but there's different ways, bro. Like I said, like, bro, you don't have to, I would never ask you to do anything like that. Like, just because I understand your nature and I know it's, if it's something that you're not interested in, it's fine. Like, this is because you don't want to volunteer doesn't mean
You can still support.
bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
right.
He knows
And
that.
dude, y'all gotta tell you, bro. Like,
yeah,
bro, and like, dude, dude, it's crazy. Like, and you're there at all my gigs. Like, you're with me for everything. Like, dude, the sorority party from Temple was absolutely insane. Oh yeah, I never talked about that on the pod, but that shit was fun. But like,
the entertaining aspect, like, I guess that's where I get it from. You know what I mean?
dude, you're good at it. Like, and it sounds like silly to talk about, but like, dude, like I'll say this: we've been able to build a crowd and just build an atmosphere, build an environment. We you know what I mean? Like, and you're so good at that. Like, we talk about, like, I'm like, yo, what song should I play this? Blah, blah, blah. I'll run some things by you because I trust your opinion, I trust your judgment, and it's like we just have fun.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
all he did. He just had fun.
have fun, bro. Like, that's what it's about too, man. Like, we get all serious about things, but like, it's super important just to remember, like, to release, and that could be a release for you, right?
Yeah.
It can be going out, and because you're not like, it's, I mean, at least from in front of me, you've never been that person who like gets too drunk or is messy. Like, you're always just there. You're always just a good time. You're having fun.
I
like,
just act like a goof.
you act like a goof. You know what I mean? So it's like you're good energy to be around. Maybe that could be your thing. And,
and like I have better days than others that I deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
for sure.
There's times that I go and I just, I'll go and sit there for 15 minutes, half hour, and just
right.
talk. I say I'm talking to him. You know what I mean? And
You are.
I say what I want to say. I sit there and
Yeah.
that helps me.
Yeah, bro. And don't be afraid to be like, because I'm sitting at his grave and talking to him. Like, you are.
Yeah.
If you believe, if that's, because I believe that. Like, I think when I'll go to my dude. I remember, like, I had some bad days, man. Like, when I was 16, I lost my grandmom, and that was like the first person in my life that I lost, and messed me up completely. Like, because I lost my girlfriend at the time. Like, I was just going through a lot, right? Mentally, as a 16-year-old kid who's in high school, like, you go through a lot. Bro, I remember when I was 21. I was 21 or 22. My parents don't know this, but I sat at a grave with a whole bottle of whiskey, and I just slammed it. And I'm just sitting there, just like really emotional. I don't remember why I was, but it would have been an anniversary or something. I don't know. I just sat there all day on a lawn chair, just drinking like whiskey, and then like just went to my friend's football field while they were playing football. I was just standing there, sitting there like a loser, just drinking a bottle. And I'm like it's like that, like shit like that messed me up. And then you realize, okay, like it's just a phase you're going through. It's just something you're going through. I'm obviously fine after that, but it's like, if I found things that helped me, right? And that's all that it is. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or what it is to anyone else. If it's something that's important to you, like your mom going, your brother's grave is important to her, and that's what helps her. Because there's signs, bro. You always get signs, man. Like,
I get signs a lot when I'm there, and it's funny you say that.
It's true. It's so fucking true. Like, I'm a firm believer.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, he loved animals, so like two deer would come out, or a fox would run by, or
Right.
whatever. Or if like I would get there, it would be like real cloudy.
Right.
I would talk for a little bit, and like, boom, the sun would just fucking
Come
beat
out,
down. I'm
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
dude?
I'm like, what? And to me, like, that was like enough.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah, it's your sign.
I've dreamt of him. Like, I've had dreams of him. The only thing is, like, he never says anything. He doesn't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Where like he's talked to my mom. He never talks. He just smiles.
Yeah.
And in every dream,
Yeah.
he just smiles at me and
Right.
he goes on his way.
You need to realize too that your brother was different things to different people, right?
Yeah.
To you, he could have just been somebody you look up to, your big brother, you know what I mean? Like to your mom, it was, I birthed him, I
Right.
raised him, right? So like maybe him talking to her is just a different symbol of that. Whereas to you, getting a smile from your brother is all you need, right?
Yeah.
You know, I really think that life works itself out in those kind of ways where we get what we need when we're supposed to get it. In terms of like our faith and just people that we love in our lives, right? Like I always think that things happen when they're supposed to, and we don't understand at the time, but at the end of the day, it does lead us to where we're supposed to go. You know what I mean? And it's a very hard concept to grasp when you are going through that, you know. But like I said, I do believe that. Like I think meeting you, I think meeting Dylan, Paige, and Maddie, and the Grace Project, and just the people in my life the past year, I think has been very beneficial for me. When I was at a point where I was like, dude, I remember I'd be like sitting in my room, I'm like, dude, like I have nobody, like I have legit nobody. And then like a few months later, like my life completely takes a 180, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you've seen the shit that I fucking been through. And, you know, like, I don't even got to get into it with you and things you've been through. It's like, I think things happen when they're supposed to, and you take signs when they come to you, and you never know when they're going to come. You never know what they're going to be.
It comes in, comes at all sorts of different times. The only thing that ever, like, I question a lot, and that was a conversation with my boy, was he's like, what would it be like now if your brother was still alive? And I looked at him and I was like, I couldn't even tell you.
I don't know.
I couldn't imagine my life, as shitty as it sounds. Like, I can't imagine my life with my brother in it, like alive in it. Not even saying it as like, oh, he was just never around all the time.
No.
But just still being here.
But I'll keep it honest with you, bro. It's not something you should think about, because at the end of the day, it's not something you can change. You can only, once you realize that you have power in what you can control, and you can only realize that when you're able to control what's in your life, like that becomes very freeing. When you realize the only things you have power over are the things you can control, and anything else on the outside is something that you shouldn't worry about, because at the end of the day, it causes stress, unnecessary stress. Like you sitting there worrying about what if with your brother. What if my brother was here? Or what if I didn't do this that night or do that night? Like it's all about what you can control. And that's when the power comes in. And that's where you start to, you know what I mean? Like, so you think about having your brother here, it's something that's just you're going to beat yourself up over it, right? It's like asking your mom. Then that leads to her saying to herself, damn, could I have been a better mom? Reality was she was probably a phenomenal mom, and
if she's watching this, mom, which she's not, but
mom might watch this.
You know, I have the best mom in the world. My mom is a saint. God bless her. You know what I mean? She really is.
Man, 100%.
She never, not shunned me away, but like when everything happened, did she change as a mom? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be crazy if she didn't.
Right.
You know,
you'd be crazy if she didn't. But still, like she did not everything for my brother, but she, made sure every time he came out, he had somewhere to go.
Yeah,
money in his pocket.
Yeah,
food on the table, the whole nine. You know what I mean?
Right,
whatever.
Right.
It's just.
Do you think your mom always has your son a lot? She loves your son, right?
Oh,
I mean,
I might as well not even be home.
Do you think in her head, like this is like she is taking this head on.
Yeah, so I said that before. Like, when I had my son, my mom was still working from home, though. Like, once my brother died, she didn't want to work at all. And me and my dad were like, yo,
I can't blame
you gotta, you know, not pushing you or nothing, but look, you gotta do something. You sitting around and laying on the couch all day, every day, first of all, it's not good for you. And it's not good for your health. Like, you gotta do something.
Yeah, stay productive, stay busy.
Right.
Yep.
So, long story short, she went back to work, but worked from home. And then, like, a couple years went by, she was still doing it, and then she was going into work 1 day a week into the office, but she was staying home. I found out I was having the baby, blah, 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 blah. She came to me and said, can I watch the baby full time? It'll push me to retire. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be the reason you retire. I want you to retire because you want to retire. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's like, nah, I've been thinking about it for a while, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay. So then Vincent was born, healthy baby, blah, 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 blah.
Young stud.
Yeah, he gets it from his dad.
Gets from his father.
His mom, he's got a beautiful mom.
Mm-hmm.
So then she started watching him, and then he went into daycare. And then I get him twice during the, like, Tuesday, Wednesday during the week, and then every other weekend. And he loves my mom.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't love me or my dad, but, like,
dude,
he wants grandmom all the time.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Wants my mom. And my mom gives him, not saying I don't, but, like, my mom gives him that, like, unconditional.
Yeah, you don't have to,
You know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
And I don't want people to think, like, I don't love my child. I love my son, but it's just something with him and my mom. They have a tight bond that I never want to break that. Ever.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And you're not doing it, dude. You're a great dad, and I know that for a fact. And I'll say this from experience. Like, my grandma, my mom's mom, is my best friend. I love her to death, man. Like when I saw her at the gala, like when I was speaking, I was like, that's why I'm doing this.
Right.
She's the reason why. She instilled these things in me. And there's a relationship that you have with your grandmom that just can't be duplicated.
No.
Grandparents are the glue, man. I don't care what anyone says, man. Like, and that's just something that I can understand. So, like, don't think that it's any slight on you.
No, I know, but
it's just your mom stepped up, man, and she helps you out a lot, and she allows you to live a good life, you know, and live a life that you're able to balance both, and she helps you with that, right?
She does. She does.
And whatever her reasonings are, I mean, she seems like a phenomenal person. I've yet to meet her. I want to meet her. But yeah, man, like I said, like, just having those, like, and having good people around you, you know,
and that's like where it came down to too, like, just surrounding myself with a good group of people. I've met some shitty people in my life.
Yeah, we all have.
You know what I mean? I mean, we all have here. I get it.
Yeah.
But
no.
You know, you surround yourself with people that you want to surround yourself with. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
You don't just bounce from one to another to. You know what I mean? You're just you're never gonna find the.
Yeah, and you would, dude.
You never know what you're gonna do.
Right, and I always say too, you attract the energy you put out.
Exactly.
You know,
and I always said too. I said this before on the pod. I forget who we were talking to. Maybe it was Joe. Maybe Joe. Yeah. I said, like, I feel like my son was like the missing puzzle piece to my mom's puzzle. Mm-hmm. Like, when my brother died, she lost that puzzle piece, and then years later, the baby was born, and then, like, took his place, but, like, put that piece back in there.
Somebody to give unconditional love to. Your mother, I'm sure, had so much pent up love that she wanted to give. You know, when you lose somebody, you know, you lose a child, like, especially at prematurely, it's like, you know, because 29 is young, and it's like you have so much sadness, right? Because a mother, she's a nurturer, right? And she had all this pent up love that she wanted to give, and you having Vincent, like, she found an outlet to love, and you know what I'm saying, and it just,
she did a good job. He started asking, like, when he could start to talk and walk. He would always, like, on our mantle, there's, like, the two, not billboards, like, cardboard,
right,
that we, like, put all his pictures on,
right, okay, yeah,
from the funeral, and then, like, his picture sits right in the middle, and he'd always point, and then he would grab a chair and he would get up and he would like touch him. And I just never had nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Like
my mom was always like, no, like that's your uncle. You know, he would have loved you. And they go to the cemetery together. You know what I mean? And he'll talk. He'll tell me all the like anytime I walk in the room, if he's looking at Michael, he'll be like, Daddy, like Uncle Michael. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, like that's your uncle. I'm like, that's who you like. Him right here that's your middle name. And he just kind of looks at you, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't understand yet, but he, you know, my mom definitely does a good job of,
for sure,
never, like, leaving him out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Because the way I look at it is that you're teaching your son to love, you know, from a distance. And it's like you're teaching your son that he was a good person, and you're teaching your son that there are good people out there and that they may not be with us anymore, but you're remembering him, you're honoring him, right? Like I said, like, and not having to hide or feel like you have to hide, you know, your brother. It's like, no, he was a good person. This is who he was. Maybe, you know, your son, that could help your son, right? Just knowing, like, just hearing positive reinforcement and saying, hey, your uncle was a good person. And then that is what your son will always remember him as, right? Even though he never met him, wasn't born when he was alive, but it's like, that's how he'll always remember him, right? You know, it's like remembering, like, there's people that in my life that I never met, and, you know, you can tell that, you know, like, trying to think, I was going to give a example, but this person wasn't a good person. But it's just like, by you reminding your son or instilling in your son that your brother was a good person, it may also remind yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Just by you telling him.
Yeah, I show him pictures. I don't really show him videos, but like there's videos on YouTube of like, you know, people put like a memorabilia thing together, or like videos of him wrestling or him just talking. And there was plenty of times where I just went on and just like listened to him do an interview just to hear him talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just to, late at night, I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep for work, and I'm just, you get them, you
listen
know.
To your brother.
Just
and bro, because you know what it does too, dude? It reminds you, okay, why did I love my brother? Why was my brother a good person? And you're telling that to your son, and you're just kind of passing his name down it and passing, you know, you're honoring your brother in a way. You know what I mean?
That's all it is.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, I mean, I challenge you. I want you to find some type of outlet, release, something healthy for you to help heal from your brother. You know, I don't know. I mean, I can imagine there's still things you struggle with, obviously, but try to find something that may help ease the pain or ease the loss, because you know, at the end of the day, it's something you always have, but it's something, it's whether you turn it into a positive or a negative, right? Do you remember him as somebody who is an amazing wrestler, amazing guy, and you think, oh, like maybe I learned a few things from him, or do you just say, you know what, you know, I mean, my brother's gone. That's just how it is. That's life. You know, it's about how you look at it. You know, like I said, my grandma, when you change the way you look at things, you look at change, right? It's all it's all about your perspective on it, and it's how you look and perceive your brother is how you're going to feel about him, because you're the only one responsible for how you talk to yourself and how you talk, and you give yourself thoughts, and you know what I mean? So try to maybe just instill a little bit more positivity, but I know you do that, but I know you're also trying to compress certain feelings and avoid certain feelings. Sometimes I think it's always good to feel, man, whether it's good or bad, because if you're not feeling anything at all, you're not living, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's something I truly try to live by. Like, there's like in my life, dude, all I want to do is I just want to feel something. You know, whether I'm DJing and playing that perfect song where people are going up and down, we're all going nuts, having a good time. How many times do we feel something when we're at Patty's, right? Whether, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Good or, you know, and like, I always just want to feel something, and it's so important to just remember that, to just try to feel something, because when you try to avoid that, you kind of just go through life, you know, just numb, and the feelings could be good or bad, because if the feelings are bad, at the end of the day, you're going to learn from that, you're going to grow from that, and you're going to turn into a different person, you're going to mature into a different person, and it's the bad things will lead to certain people leaving your life, certain things leaving your life, because you realize, okay, that's not good for me anymore.
Right.
Right? When you start feeling the good things, you're like, I want more of that. Then you start attracting more of that. You start attracting those people more than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about feeling and just like living life to feel, man. Because I tell you, when you're not feeling nothing, man, how you mentioned you're numb a lot, like, you're not getting better, you're not getting worse, right? You're not feeling anything, and it's just important because we're creatures of habit. We're creatures of evolution. Whether we're going through something bad, we're always going to want to be better. We're always going to want to improve. And whether we're feeling something good, we're going to want to build on that. So try to find something that can allow you to feel again. Because if it doesn't feel good, at least remind yourself that you're feeling something, and you will adapt and you'll find ways to feel better. And because when you feel that pain, it's like you have to like break a bone to heal it, right?
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like maybe something like that, because if you never go through it, there's going to be a time where you're going to go through it, and it's going to be build up tension, build up anger, build up hurt. That could just come out way worse. So why not feel it, heal it, and, be Rob, right?
You know when I feel it is when a friend of mine who you know, but I won't mention names on here just because I don't know how he would feel, but whatever. Same thing. His brother died. I believe they were the same age. Same thing.
Okay.
But they were closer in age than like me and Michael were.
Right.
And I met him, we were down the shore. That's how I met him. We were just like one group of friends, met them. Next thing you know, we come home from being in Wildwood, which is you just go from northeast in Jersey to the northeast, back to the northeast.
Yeah, the northeast and northeast, yeah.
And we were talking or whatever, and he has a tattoo just like I do for my brother. And I was like, what is that? He's like, for my brother. And I'm like, I'm like, you don't mind me asking, like, what happened? He told me. And I left it at that. I never pressured that situation. I let that person, if they want to talk,
for sure,
come to me. You know what I mean?
There,
Like, I'm not going to pressure you into talking to me. Sure enough, one night, just driving around, and he just
let it out. But
it was good because you can relate.
For
You know what I mean? Like, I was able to talk to him and be like, life goes on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's shitty. It's not easy. It's rough. It sucks, dude. You're gonna run through the cycle of life,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
dude, absolutely. And you gotta realize too, like, he's feeling something. That's part of healing, right? That's part of the process. But you also understand too that life does go on, because there are people that live in that forever. They live in that feeling of hurt. They live in that feeling of pain forever. And they let it carry on to the next thing they do in their lives, whether it's a relationship or a job or whatever. They let it always hang over their heads. That's not the point of feeling pain. The point of feeling pain is to let yourself feel it, so you never want to feel that again, and heal from that. And
you gotta let it out.
Yeah, letting it out. But but I'll give you credit though, man. You always gave yourself. You say life goes on, and because the reality situation is, yes, life does go on. And yes, move on. Like, you have to move on. Like, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be stuck in your living room, not having a job, right? Not doing nothing, right? Like how you said you got your mom out, you got your mom up, and now she's good.
And look, I went through it, like the time during COVID when, the union it got bad with, not being able to work because COVID was running rampant and people were dying and doing this and whatever, whatever. We were all laid off. Yeah, we were making money because we were getting from unemployment, but like, I wasn't proactive. I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting at home and then going out and like doing just dumb shit. Yeah. And then next thing you know, like, I remember just sitting there and it'd be like a Tuesday night, and I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I drinking? What am I doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it put me in this bad hole. And then like people were like, yo, cuz, reel yourself back in. Like, what are you doing? And I had people calling me and texting me and like checking up on me. And I'm like, you know what? Enough.
Right.
Like, yo, snap out of it. Whatever you're doing just ain't it. You know what I mean? Fix yourself.
Yeah.
So then finally I was like, I got to get back to doing my side business. I got to get back to doing side work.
Yeah.
Went back to doing side work. Work picked up again for us for the union at the time. And then just
Well, bro, you hit your break.
back in.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I
you
mean?
hit your breaking point.
Yeah.
And everyone does. I hit mine. I mean, I remember 2020. Dude, it's probably in the same boat as you, my guy. Like for real, like I lost all my gigs, and in a span of a week, you know,
Just sitting there drinking.
ugh, drinking.
And I mean that, like, dude, like I just remember.
But no,
being just sitting there
not
drinking
like-
in someone's basement or like on the island.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
dude, what are you doing?
like you just do like dumb shit. And I was doing that, bro. I was down the shore every weekend. I got a hotel room every single weekend. I was staying at Flip Flops and Acropolis and all these places. And I'm
Acropolis is nice.
Acropolis is 5 stars. What you mean? But I was like, you know, I was doing this shit and I was running out of money. And I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, it's just like insane. I was living out of a trash bag for a week. I remember that in Seattle. I remember that. And I'm just like, what am I doing right now? Like,
Yeah.
this is before the pod, before anything. And I had that moment where I'm just like, I am a loser. I'm like, I'm not doing shit with my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, where am I going to be in 5 years? I'm like, what am I doing? And, you know, granted, like my gigs all came back. But during that period, I think COVID, for me, you know, personally, it just really made me reevaluate myself and
Yeah,
think,
absolutely.
you know, if I did lose everything, it can happen again. You know, so I'm not going to let that happen to me again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I started with, you know, started the podcast, I started really pushing my music and everything like that, and just working on building something bigger than myself. Or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, just so I know I have a foundation in case COVID were to hit again, and I would never lose my gigs again, or you know what I mean? Like, it was my rock bottom, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I mean, and like during all that, like we had a really bad call, which I can't get into because of,
No, 100%.
whatever
100%,
reasons,
yeah.
but that just threw me into that, like, I guess almost like a deep depression. You know what I mean? And everything just started coming. Like, the guys were like, yo, you need to go talk to somebody. And I'm like, I'm not talking to a soul.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to myself before I talk to one of them.
I talk to myself before I talk to anybody else.
You know what I mean? Or I would, like, and that was the thing, like, just being around good people, you, O'Neal, and then, you know, Brink, Bechtel, Bowser, all of them, like all the boys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
All the guys like that were just like A1 guys, yourself, like that's the people that were there that were like, yo,
yeah,
what are you doing?
right.
You know what I mean?
Checking you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And they were like, dude, it's a Wednesday night and you've been drinking for the last month.
yeah,
What's going on?
yeah,
And I remember being at Matt's house and me and O'Neal, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you, buddy. So here's your fucking moment.
talking to you, dickhead.
Chooch. So, we were outside and something got brought up about the call. And then it got brought into me about my brother. And then he said that. He was just like, dude, he's like, you ever think, like, the reason you're doing what you're doing is because you're still stuck on your brother? He's like, you ever think about that? He's like, go talk to somebody. Go
Right.
better yourself. And I just remember looking at him, and I was pissed.
I believe that.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, say it again.
Say it again. I'll smack
Yeah.
the shit out you.
But, like, in reality, that made it something click up top, and I'm like, you know what? Like, you're right.
But exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, you
Like,
said a point.
You need that person.
Yeah, it's fucking check you. And the reason, probably the reason why you did get mad, because you realize there's some truth to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so important that, like I said, you just said, like, having people in your corner just gonna fucking check you, man, and like put you in and say what they feel to better you. And I always take feedback no matter what from anybody, just because I'm always willing to listen. Doesn't mean I'll do it, but I'll listen and I'll take your input. You know, and to have O'Neal like say something like that, he's probably right. And you know,
He's probably the one who I went to the most, besides my aunt, which she's like my rock. Besides my mom, like
for sure.
She really is my rock. She was always like, if I'm having a bad day, text her like blah 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She was always there, and like so was he. And I remember he would come with me sometimes to the grave, and he would just sit with me.
Yeah, just be there.
And he would be like, he's like, dude, if you gotta cry, cry. Like, don't hold it in. Just let it go. Say what you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, do what you want to do. You know what I mean? And
For sure.
he just never judged. I think that was the other thing too. Like, people just judging you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. People. I mean, that's something I figured out very early is that people are always going to talk shit. But at the end of the day, bro, the second you realize that the reason why they're talking shit is because they have their own shit going on, you know, that you realize there's a lot of power in that. You know what I mean? Like, I've learned that whenever someone's talking shit, most of the time it's because they have their own shit going on. I've had people talk shit on me and I press them and I'll tell them straight up, like, yo, so what were you saying about this? And they're like, do you know what, man? Like, I've been going through this. And I'm like, well, like, how we sit and talk about it? But my point is that people who talk shit, they're just people who are hurting too. And they have no other outlet to take it. And their only option is to make someone else feel just as bad as them. It's a reality situation,
that's
man.
all it is.
And for somebody to talk shit, I mean, if they're talking shit about you and your brother, then they're just a fucking piece of shit. But, like, it's just...
I wish somebody would.
Yeah, it's just like...
it'd be a bad day for them.
Yeah,
that's all. You know what I mean?
But it's not even something to focus on, you know?
Right, no, absolutely not.
But it's like... Yeah, like I said, and you got to pray for those people, man. You gotta show love to those people because at the end of the day, they're going through something. And it is
and
what
like,
it is.
The time we talked to Joe, and like you asked a question to me, you said, "What if there's one thing you could say to someone who's going through this? What would you say?" And I said, "Never give up." I truly mean that. And Joe, if you're watching, I really hope everything's going good. You know what I mean? I really do. I pray for her all the time. I hope that everything's going. Yeah, she's aces in my book.
She's the best, man.
She's the best.
She had Patty's on Sunday. I saw her.
She's my Patty's crush.
So if you're watching,
yeah, right. But no, I truly mean that. Like, you know, we see it all the time. How many people we know that, like, yo, so and so passed away from an overdose at our age? Like, that ain't right.
Yeah, man,
that's not right. You see it more and more, and it's you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, yeah, man. It's just the important part is this stuff like that. You know, when you see it, you can try to intervene and prevent it. But at the end of the day, I mean, if that person doesn't want to get clean, they won't. And
right, absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel like my responsibility and our responsibility is just to encourage the conversation, or be, if we're not encouraging the conversation on a podcast, we're at least out giving people a release, right? Like playing music, having a good time, you know, and wherever we're at, we're not attached to anywhere, but wherever we're at, whether it's the Temple Sorority Party or the party we have coming up on the 21st, it's just like, that's what I enjoy. That's what you enjoy.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know Mike Tate, he was just on the pod. Shout out to him. He said, like, Kev, like, coming to Sunday, he's like, is just a release for him. He's able to forget about things he's going through in his life. Because bro, you're just hanging out, listening to music. It's all,
just having
it's
fun.
all it really is, man. You know, and it's like, you know, but at the end of the day, man, like I said, just want you to find a release for you. You know, find something for you that can make you
like
happy.
I said, I think I've come to that point to where, like, that conversation with that can be had.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Came on here, man. You hit me up to come back on and talk. You know what I mean. That's a huge, you know, it's a huge step. And who knows what? And that's the thing too, man. Who knows what's going to come from it, right? You never know. That's just important. Just taking that step. You never know what positive's going to come out of it. You being open and transparent to the right people. I'll stress that, being open to the right people, because you're open to the wrong people, they'll use that shit against you.
110%.
You know that, but yeah, just be open and just taking that chance. You never know what's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
But see you on the 21st.
Oh my God.
See you at Patty's on Sunday.
Yeah, really.
Nah, man, but like, dude, for us, so happy you came on. Yeah. So happy we talked about it, just chopped it up, man, and you know I love you. You're my brother, man.
Love you too, bro.
Love a kid.
Always.
Love a kid. Man, it's my guy right here, man. Rob Rudolph, absolute legend.
Try.
He said I try. That's some funny shit, man. Well, listen, bro. It's a great episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up from here. It's my guy, Rob. I'm Kev Nichols. Peace.